Soweto to conduct audits to establish what causes some of the mini power stations to go down. The power utility says that before it can repair a power station or reconnect a community after a power trip, an audit must be conducted. It is found that the fault was caused by overload as a result of illegal connection. The perpetrators are then fined. Once a fine is issued, it should be paid or the consumer will not be reconnected. Now, Eskom says it is receiving backlash from communities fearing being cut off as they may have illegally connected their electricity. One such incident took place last week when an employee was actually held hostage by the community. And for more on the story, we are now joined by Daphne Mokwena from Eskom. Very good morning to you. We thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Can you first give us more details around what happened with the technician in the incident?
Yes. In actual fact, we received a query from the councillor to say there's a mini substation that we needed to come and inspect because it seems like there were members of the community that were actually stealing some parts of the equipment or parts of the mini substation, and hence the community was actually guarding the mini substation. And then we dispatched one of our security personnel, and unfortunately when the security personnel was still investigating the matter, the power went off, affecting larger parts of the area in central Jabavu and Mufolo. And that unfortunate incident then resulted in the community mobilizing and actually blaming the security personnel to have been the one who has disconnected the power supply or interrupted the power supply. And he was held hostage, and we were called to say what is actually going on. And unfortunately in such situations we needed to dispatch and investigate as well as to why the power has tripped. But unfortunately that our personnel was held hostage and his vehicle was actually vandalized. We needed to make sure that the situation or the area is safe before we can send people out to go and investigate why the power has tripped, affecting the rest of the area.
So in terms of the security personnel from Eskom, was he injured at any point? What happened?
Look, fortunately he had his ID with him, and he managed to actually show some of the members of the community, about 3 members of the community that protected him, and we thank those members of the community who were responsible enough to protect this personnel. And then we called JMPD and SABC to the scene, which then took over the scene and managed it.
Now, how serious is this issue of communities actually affecting the work of Eskom, also the supply of illegal connections, specifically in the township areas?
Yeah, look, normally our infrastructure, based on obviously age and whatever the cost may be, it will trip. And it's expected that customers should report to our contact center, where we will dispatch our technical guys, or where actually from our control room, where we can actually see that a major area has been affected, we normally just dispatch our technical guys to go and investigate and try and restore supply as soon as possible. But unfortunately, in most cases when areas have been affected, then we get members of the public or our customers mobilizing and making the area unsafe. It's unfortunate that we cannot allow our technical guys, to be exposed to such unsafe or risky areas. Hence, we withdraw them or we don't send them up until the area is made safe.
Now, in terms of the illegal connections, do you think in specific, this is where, or this is one of the reasons why the Soweto municipalities owe Eskom nearly over 20 million rand?
Yeah, look. Illegal connections is one of the issues that we faced up with. An illegal connection I'm referring to, so there are 2 issues in Soweto in particular. It's illegal connections where we have installed prepaid meters, where customers would have breached meters, number one. And secondly, where customers are buying from illegal vendors, or what we call normally ghost vendors. Number two, it's where we have credit meters where customers don't allow to do, our credit management, where if customers are not paying, we then have to disconnect those customers. And hence, that is why we find ourselves sitting with the huge bill or outstanding debt that we're sitting with in Soweto. And we'd like to, one of our strategy, to deal with the 18.2 billion, not the 20 million that is being owed by these Sowetans, we're saying we need to install the split meter. So we would urge the community to allow us to install those split meters, which is the prepaid meters, where they can actually manage their consumption, because this is what we normally get that people cannot afford. But we're saying if people cannot afford, let them then have this, the prepaid meter so that they can manage their consumption as per their affordability.
Now, in terms of this situation and the dynamics specifically in Soweto, what is Eskom going to be doing going forward to mitigate any possible confrontation between community members and your staff and personnel, and at the same time be able to provide your technicians on the ground with the safety and the security that they need going into whatever area?
Yeah, we actually talk to our the councillors in the areas, and to actually, because normally we have a good relationships with them, so that they during the public meetings that they have, they can actually educate customers in terms of, or they can call us in to educate customers when they have those public meetings. I think the more education that we offer to the public or our customers, the better, and our technical guys will be allowed to come in. But I think it's public knowledge that our infrastructure, time and again, it will need to be, we would need, when customers have, or when there's a fault, customers need to call our contact center. And as I said, that we normally talk to the councillors to actually, in their public meetings, call us in, so that we can also try and educate the customers to say what is the process that needs to be followed when there's a fault.
And what about your technicians? One would only imagine, actually being a technician, the fear of being told that you're going to be deployed to an area or to a community. What sort of internal audits or management processes are going on in terms of the technicians that will be rolled out?
Yeah, when we do audits, so we normally involve, as I said, that councillors as well. But we've got our own security as well that we deploy with our technical guys who under normal circumstances work with the JMPD if obviously the area is risky, where they will scan the area, and if it's risky, obviously we won't dispatch them. But if once they have scanned the area and they have given us the comfort to say that the area is safe for our guys to come and do audits, then we then deploy our technicians to go and do the audits.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. Daphne Mokwena from Eskom, just giving us more details around one of the technician security personnel being held hostage, going to go and check a substation with regards to an audit that needed to take place whenever some of the substations, the power stations, do go out. Taking us through the security contingent with regards to that specifically in Soweto.